You're listening to Comic Lectual, and it's just push.
There you go, people. You heard it from the man. You're listening to It's Just Push. I'm here with a really special guest, someone who I really admire. He's a close friend of mine. He's a strongly comedian, and I think we need one during these times when everything is unsure. Let's welcome Ajeet.
Da-da-da-da-da.
What's up, Ajeet? How are you doing today?
Ooh, pretty good, pretty good. Just woke up late and wasn't feeling like going to gym, but still fucking went. I think I should use less F F bombs. Yeah, and still went to the gym because I wanted to post that accountability story which I have started. Yeah,
Yeah, I did saw that you're it's a day 3 for you. Is that
yeah. Like
something
I've been
that you recently got into? Like, what inspired you to go to gym?
so, like so I've, most of my family is in a medical field, okay, and I have seen more injuries than a normal person, I guess, in a way. And I see how easy it is. We often think like as we age, our joints are obviously gonna start paining and all that stuff, but no, that's not really the case. So I would like it if that's not the case with me. And I would really love it. I can lift things, I can run, I can play games for as much, even at 60, even at 70, even at 80, I want to be able to play soccer.
I mean, if that's true, then I think I'm gonna be someone who's gonna be shaking uncontrollably because I already have a degenerative disc disease. I might be
Nice,
paralyzed soon, so
nice.
uh, I don't know how to
Uh,
combat
uh,
that.
if you need any help, I do have some friends who are in wheelchair.
Yeah, the for easy transition. But yeah, I mean, I want to congratulate on your first show. It's a big improvement. Your timing is getting better, and I want to talk about the first joke that you made. Bombing and being saved because we are brown. Uh, but you said like your friend told you that you're not brown enough. Do you think like
That
this is
that
an issue that because everyone has this identity crisis and instead of working on their issues they want to point out that in someone else, be like, hey, you're not brown enough, you're not gay enough, you're not straight enough, you're this and that. Like, what do you think about that?
my jokes are like I try to make safe jokes, safe in the sense that even if they bomb, I have something, some punchline as a backup, which will make it funny. If someone doesn't laugh, they will laugh at the racially profiled line. If someone doesn't laugh at that, then they'll laugh at tech support thing. It's the same with like there's one other joke which is kind of like a fail proof. People will laugh at it.
Right. I was thinking as being a comedian or an artist, you have to be aware about like what's going on in the world, right? You have to be relevant in some sense when you're making these jokes. So when you see like everything that's happening around you and try to turn that into comedy, does that like mentally affect you as well to see like how bad the world is right now?
Not necessarily because I don't read news. Okay? I don't read news at all. Like if you know, like even the Bruce Willis joke, someone else told me that hey, did you hear that Bruce Willis got diagnosed with dementia? And my brain, the first comment my brain thought of was Die Hard. This is Die Hard is one of those movies which most of the Indians would have seen. Like I have grown up seeing that movie. I love that guy. Die Hard 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm pretty sure I've seen all of them.
Right. Okay, I do know like it's pretty hard to find opportunity when you're doing anything, especially like as I said, like you transitioning into being a comedian and also being a dark comedian. Uh, there's like two sides right now, and they're both extremists. Like one's like hypersensitive, and then there's like like we don't care, we don't fuck transgender, fuck gay people, this and that, right? Uh, do you think like people when they hear your joke they often like misjudge you or assume that you are on one side versus the other, or do you feel like you have to take sides?
Uh, this is something which I want to do. I want to make fun of both sides because they are both equally stupid, in my opinion. Okay. Instead of just trying to understand each other, they are just, hey, do this. Yeah, I was just thinking of today, like most of the people who say, I want, like, I should be able to love whoever I want are the same people imposing on others how to love others.
Right. I
On
agree.
one hand, they're saying, let me live my life the way I want. At the same time, both sides are also imposing on the next other side how to live.
Right.
So they both are, in my opinion, equally stupid. Like just try to understand each other. That's what. And I want to, on the same notice, I want to point out something about that brown comic bombing joke. Uh, do you know make a guess whose ethnicity was it? The ethnicity of the person who said I'm not brown enough.
White.
Brown. That was surprising. I know. I know.
Okay.
I have heard that line, I'm not brown enough, from two or three friends. All of them are brown. And I go like, you are missing out on the joke. A racist person
You
is,
know why? You know why? Because I think they're South Indian. South
yeah.
Indians are much more darker than us. I get it what they're trying to say.
No, 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 that's not the thing. See, we as brown people know they are different brown people, different kind of brown people. Asian people know they are different kind of Asian people. White people know they are different kind of Asian white people. Okay, but for someone who's not brown or someone who's not white, we come from an ignorant point of view. We see every white person as same white person. We see most Asian people as same Asian people. We see most brown people as, because we don't know about their culture, right? And
Right.
but we as brown people know the difference. And my point is that if you are saying I'm not brown enough, you're missing the point. Because do you really think a racist person is gonna think through the scenario? Let me make sure if I'm gonna be racist, make sure that I get the right stereotype. Like
It's
a racist person is not gonna be concerned about. Let me get the right stereotype.
yeah. But let me ask you one thing. Were those brown people Muslims?
No, Punjabi,
Oh,
Punjabi
Punjabi.
and
Okay.
Hindu.
Okay. Okay. That's, I mean, okay. That did fucked up my joke, but that's unexpected. Like from especially like a
Muslim people
Punjabi guy.
love it. Muslim
Yeah.
people love that. Like I have a friend from Pakistan. I have a friend from uh, Persian country. They all love that joke.
Right. Because
It's
they're
the
like,
Indian.
yeah, we know we're fed up. We have listened to this 100 times, but at least you didn't say Muslim, you said brown. So fuck yeah, go for it.
That was an interesting thing. Like brown, and I get it. Like the people who are saying I'm not brown enough are coming from a place of concern because they are close to me. They just want to make sure I don't say shit which gets me in trouble. I get that, but
Right.
it's like again you're missing the joke. And
Yeah.
being the comedian, let me be the judge of what's a good sense of humor.
That true. You gotta believe in your jokes and have confidence, cause definitely you're gonna bomb.
Yeah, and one other thing is, it's never about what you are saying, it's about how you are saying.
Right. Right.
There's
That's
nothing
true.
off the table as long as you choose the right words to make fun of it.
Right. It's all about delivery. This is why not everyone can be a good comedian. I try to, but only I laugh at my jokes. So
Yeah,
here we are.
this is being like trying to be a comedian, being a comedian has changed a lot of perceptions for me. I thought funny people can be comedians. No, there's a nice difference between someone who's funny and someone who's comedians. Funny person is funny in context, but a comedian has to enter a room full of strangers and make them laugh with no
Right.
context.
Right. I think
And
it's professional skills versus personality.
yeah,
That's how you can define it.
yeah,
All right. Okay. So still talking about the same topic. How do you tackle like these comments or lashback or blacklash? Like what the fuck the word is? I can't think
yeah,
of
like
it.
when people don't take it the right way.
Yeah, yeah. So how do you tackle that, like from the audience or even from your friends? What about your family? Does your mom and dad knows?
They know I'm doing comedy, but they don't understand my jokes.
Are they like what the fuck, like we were expected you to we paid so much for your tuition fees, you were doing well in computer science, like why did you choose comedy?
touch wood. My everyone like both of my sister like and my parents have been full like they support me.
Awesome.
My father legit said, get on the stage, have fun, think of audience, like get on stage like you are a politician. Don't give a shit about the audience.
So do you like, so does that mean like your dad's like a funny person as well? Like, do you get that inspiration from home too, like being a comedian, or was it something you just never thought, and then where did your aspiration came from, like to be a comedian?
I think a lot of my friends, including you, have said I should try stand up, and that started that whole thing of I should actually give it a try. And I tried it back in 2019, but after that, those shows were terrible, terrible. Okay, but then I didn't get up on stage at all because I had stage fright. It's only when I came to this place that I someone told me that hey, they do open mic, and I was still afraid because I had stage fright, and I was like, okay, let me try it.
So how did that go, like the very first time? Like what was your first joke, like when you went up, like what was your whole energy?
I was nervous a lot. Like the another reason is like I wanted to get good with public speaking because that's an invaluable skill.
Right.
Now and at this point, even if I don't pursue stand-up comedy professionally or I don't make it like because at least you have to put in at least 10 years worth of work to even get to like to be a locally known name. Like I the place where I do open mic, there are comedians who have been working for 10 years. And the other thing is like once you have perfected a joke, like my 5 minutes set, like 5 minutes of
Right.
all jokes work. Now
Right.
I'm back to zero. Now I have to work on the jokes again to get
Yeah.
another 5 minutes.
And it is tough. I mean, I was thinking about like to do jokes for this interview. I couldn't come up with one, so I'm like, I'll just roll with the flow because I think I have a more of a personality than being a comedian. But is that why you moved all the way to Prince Edward, because there's gonna be less population, so you could be recognized quicker?
Actually, that is not sound. I didn't think of that way, but in retrospect, it is helping me because I'm not sure if I started the same thing in Vancouver, I would have been able to get my first paid show so fast. And because it's a small community, people are much
Right.
more involved with each other.
Right. But it could be opposite though, because I've seen a lot of people just go viral. You could have gone to one of the clubs, and someone recorded you, and then out of nowhere you're like, fuck, I'm famous now. Is that your expectancy as well? Like, do you expect that to happen someday?
Yeah,
Like, what kind of question is that? Like, what the fuck you mean? Why I'm being a comedian to be famous? No, I just
like
want to work for local churches and gurdwaras and just stay
yeah,
local.
I'm gonna make sure. Like I'm gonna go to a family gathering. Some uncle will pay me $100. Better jokes now.
Yeah, and be invited to all the barbecues for black people.
Yeah, like how they like when our relatives used to visit us, बेटा dance करके दिखाओ, बेटा ये करके दिखाओ, same thing. So,
Okay. All right. So, but again, like going back to the same thing of being hypersensitivity, I think that's going to be the theme of like the whole show. Do you feel safe out there when you go out and make those jokes, or do you sometimes feel like, man, okay, I think the public's getting like really, really, hostile about these jokes, or you're seeing the energy like going out of the window, and then like, okay, I think this is gonna go bad.
it does happen. Like sometimes I say this, it's hard for me to take feedback about my jokes because a lot of reactions to my jokes are not technically laughter, but ooh, all that stuff. And the
Right.
best reaction I've ever got to a joke of mine is Jesus.
Yeah,
It's not a
I,
laugh,
I,
it's Jesus.
I think, yeah, if like someone says Jesus, or oh no, that means like, yes, this is hitting that you're, because you're making like these dark comedy and like comedy jokes. So I think that's when you're like, yeah, it's hitting somewhere. It's doing
Yeah.
the job.
And my whole premise is If not comedy, then what? Because comedy is the only thing which is willing to touch all these dark topics which even news won't touch at times.
Right. And this is a great advice for everyone who is listening. If you want to be a racist, be a comedian.
That's another thing that's another thing. In my head, I go like, so I can get on stage, say the most fucked up thing, and make people laugh about it. Wow.
Right. But the most infamous question: have you ever tried to say the N word publicly?
No, but I do have a good story about that.
Okay, let's hear.
Uh, there's a comedian, Samson. Okay, he lives in some other city. He's black, and but he has a white skin of patch right here. And I went up to him and I was like, you know what would be the best tattoo for you? White. Just written, just a tattoo on that white spot which spells white. And then someone else topped me off. Like for if it says white, the premise is what the fuck, okay? But someone else came in and was like, you know what would be much better? Like we were discussing what he should get tattooed. Asian. Just write Asian. That's like
White rice.
it doesn't make yeah, like it doesn't make sense. A black person with a white patch of skin and the tattoo is the spelling Asian.
Right. And then he could say, I identify as confusion.
Yeah. I was at one point willing to pay for his tattoo.
You should have walked up to him and like, hey, good job, eliminating interracial. Because
I have
you're
made plenty
representing
jokes with him
both.
though. Oh, actually, yeah, he can say that. Like, technically, I represent all like three races: white, black, and Asian. See?
There you go. There you go. That's how it should be done. That's how we should do
Yeah.
it. But because I remember, like, I haven't talked to my friend for a long time. I don't know if you know him because we used to play soccer as well, like back in our college. He's a black dude, but he's the only one who gave me permission to say the N word. So, bro,
Oh, nice.
the best part of my day was if I saw him walking from far away, I'm gonna start yelling, "Yo, the N word," and then he's so happy about it because the reason is he knew that we had a mutual respect for each other, right? We weren't trying to like roast him or make fun of him or say it in a really derogatory way. Derogatory way? Am I saying
Derogatory.
it right?
That's another
Derogatory.
thing. That's another issue with me. I have to choose words which I know I can pronounce.
Yeah, or you're like, yeah, my accent's coming right out, and they can tell I'm brown. It's not my skin, it's my accent.
That joke, the resurrection of Jesus. I say that twice, and
Right.
mostly the second time I say resurrection, my tongue just jumbles
Yeah.
up. The resurrection, the rare, I go like that. I can't pronounce that word. I have to take a breath and like the
I
the
did notice that,
resurrection.
like, that whenever you were saying a joke or you were setting up the premise, you were saying it twice before delivering the punchline. Is that because you think the audience is dumb, or you're giving yourself that courage to say the punchline that and believing that no one's gonna throw something on your face or at you?
It sort of happens with the flow. Like there are jokes which I know rephrasing that first line gives more emphasis to the punchline. Okay.
Right.
And then sometimes if I know I there's some words which I can't pronounce correctly, so I repeat those lines to make sure that the audience gets what I'm trying to say.
But do you still get like nervous jitters? Is that like another reason why you sometimes say it twice?
I don't get nervous jitters anymore. Like compared to my first time on stage, I was shivering. I could feel my legs shivering. Like I could like without putting my hand on the heart, I could feel my heartbeat. But
Right.
now it's all good. Now I just feel shiver when it's kind of cold because I haven't still accommodated to the weather.
Yeah, I mean, I think like it's if it's first time for anyone, it just sounds like you inhaled a bunch of helium and then went to a stage and then you get all squeaky.
I should try that. Yeah, I'm gonna try that.
So, because there's like a lot of other comedians, like for me, the people I really enjoy the most was like Norm Macdonald, he was like the best with with his punchlines and roasting and coming up with lines on sport. And then Bill Burr is another one that I really like. So what are like the comedians that you like? What's the inspiration, that you get from these comedians?
The one which I really love is Anthony Jeselnik because most of his stuff is just dark, short jokes. I wanted to see, he was coming to Halifax. I wanted to go and see there, but I couldn't afford it. And yeah, so other than that, there's uh, just any
Would you
person
wanna
who,
open for him?
Phew, that would be fun.
Yeah,
That would be fun. Because that's another kind of thing. Uh, Opening for someone is a different kind of talent. Like I'm not sure I have enough to host something yet. I will get there for sure, but not yet. Like along those same lines, I do want to like make jokes in the public, like get a concept, start to see how I can make it funny. But the issue with that is a lot of jokes in the starting sound very offensive.
right,
I have some friends who took so much offense that we don't talk on good terms anymore. And my point is, it's a draft. It's a draft. I still have to work on it. I have to make it more safe so that it's much more, it doesn't trigger people. It makes them laugh.
right. But what
I don't know. I
like
don't want to ruin someone's day, but if someone's day does get ruined, I don't care.
yeah, I should be walking out in public and yelling out like offensive words to see how people react. And they're like, okay, okay, that's the reaction. Maybe I should joke about this. But no, like very interesting because my next question was, have you ever thought like this joke has gone too far and you decided not to say it or include it in your stand up?
No, because I understand that can happen. Like you know what I can think of. People over here are still say that I'm very honest and I have no filter. And whenever I say that, and my brain goes like, "Oh, this is the filtered content."
Okay, that's how you take that feedback.
Yeah, like if you think this is unfiltered, you are not ready for unfiltered. Yeah, I did get a feedback from comedian friend of mine. He was like, don't warn the audience." I like that. And like I wanted to play it safe, so I would often see that I'm still an international student, so I have to be a little bit more on the edge safe side.
Right. So what okay, but would you wanna give us one example of a joke that you decided not to say?
I'm still deciding on it. I have two jokes, okay? The first one, so I was taking a walk in downtown over here. It's a small downtown, barely downtown. It's the of the downtown. Okay, and there was a board which said it was outside a brewery. Okay, and the board said, "This Barbie drinks beer." And the first thought was, "Yeah, this Barbie drinks beer. This Barbie fat." I'm not sure if the people are ready for that F word.
I
Like,
mean, I don't think it's that bad. Like the fat shaming, not fat shaming, but like joking about it. See, that's the thing. Like when people joke about being fat, even the person who is overweight or more than average, let's say that, they do know like that's a problem. There is a choice, unless it's genetic or some health issue. We get it. There is a choice, right? I know I'm getting fat because I'm eating too much stuff. I'm staying at home, not working at all. So I see that weight put on. So I decided to cut on some calories if I'm not working out. If I'm working out, I can eat more. So that's like a choice that everyone can make, and they should take it in a way that we're not trying to, or that goes for every joke. We're not trying to
let
make
me put it this way. Let me put it
right.
this way.
I
My
think I'm stretching it too
concern
much.
about no, you are getting the right point, but I don't think you have collected your thoughts around this topic because I have. My concern about with being fat is as long as it's not causing. The more there are two kind of fat. I think the don't. I'm not a biologist. I have no, like double check all these facts. Okay, so there are two kind of fat: visceral fat, which is inside the body, and the
Right.
fat, which is outside. And if they are not in the right ratio, okay, if they're not in the right ratio, you are more likely to get ill. You are more likely to get diseases. You are more likely to some get diabetes, or some, like, you are a lot more likely to get sick if you have those both kind of fat in the wrong ratio. I want the best for you. Like, if you get fat, I'll make fun of you. Like, you are my friend. I get to do that.
Right.
Okay, I
Right.
get to do that. You call out on my shit. I call out on your shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Like, I
that's what
want,
friends are supposed to do.
yeah, like, I want the best life for you. If I can help in any way, perfect. If I can't, if you still choose to not to, then I'll stop doing that. But to call out that body shaming, uh, for the most part, just be healthy. Just be healthy. I have seen a lot of fat people who are in tremendous health. I remember a conversation with a friend of mine. She is a girl, and we were talking about something along the same lines. And she was gaining weight, so I called it out. And like, again, with her, it goes, okay, don't get offended. So on my friend's behalf, okay? And she was like, no, I love myself. And I was like, okay, let me put a hypothetical scenario in front of you. If a genie came, like, if you had one wish, and the wish is something like, I'll snap and you will get your summer body, would you still take that body? If you say no, then I'll admit that yes, you do love yourself.
Then you have ego.
Yeah, like,
You don't wanna. You don't wanna admit it. You have ego if you say no to that
no,
opportunity.
like, like, I love those transformation videos in which a fat guy becomes really healthy, and all of even in the starting and even in the ending, they are still laughing, they're still smiling.
Right. Right. Right.
Like, if you will decline that offer of getting a summer body at the snap of a finger, then I trust your words. But if you say you will take that offer, yeah, you're just bullshitting yourself.
So the next thing I wanted to ask you is,
And the other point is, this was supposed to be fucking test video.
but I think this is going so well. We can use it. I don't think
Yeah, we will have to use it because
yeah.
I'm not sure it will be much fun to repeat what I've just said.
Yeah, because definitely I think an unexpected interview is always, or unplanned things mostly goes better than when you plan it, because then you're so conscious about this and that. I think now we're just having fun, so this is good. But then okay, so the other thing, because everyone takes advice from people who have already are successful or far gone in that industry, and you've just started out. This was your first show, and I want to see, or I wanted to ask you, like, what advice you would give people who are trying to get into this whole comedy industry, like where to start, where to go, how to do it. Like, can you give some advice to those people?
Yeah, get up on the stage, do it, bomb. This the,
I mean,
the one new thing which I'm trying to do is find 100 different ways to fail at it. You can't. Like, the hardest part was getting on the stage. And once I got on the stage, I still remember I have a video recorded of it. After coming off, I was feeling so confident, man, so confident.
yeah,
And
I
now,
mean, what's the worst that could happen? You're like, okay, that was it. Why was I too worried about it? But yeah, I mean, that's a freaking great advice. But other than that, like, did you try to contact an agency, or like you just went for it? Like, how did you get into it, or did you did a little bit research about the industry?
no, nothing. I still don't do. I still don't do. Like, on one hand, I'm concerned that on one hand it makes sense to copy what the successful people are doing, okay, but on the other hand I don't want to be that stencil of how I do comedy. So what I do is I just think of concepts and do jokes on them. And I do take feedback from like, the best part about doing comedy is people who have been doing for 10 years, 15 years are at a lot of times in the same room as a person who has just been doing comedy since April. Like, 2 3, it's April, May, June, July, August. It's just been 5 months for me. and I'm
Right.
in the same room, and I have a notebook, and it has all these notes which I took whenever someone would tell me, like, I had this habit of once I'm done with the joke, I would take away the mic. Okay.
Right.
And one from Zachary is a funny comedian, a good friend of mine. He told me, like, I didn't realize I was doing that. Like, it was just a knee jerk reaction. He told me, like, stop giving the hint that the joke is over. Like that, no, like so I did do that. Like, I and the one other another comedian, the host of our show, Red Tails Comedy Nights, Britt Campbell. uh
Right.
so I saw her, and one issue which I realized with my comedy a long time ago is, uh when I'm talking to the audience, the mic still stays here, so sometimes they can't hear me.
Right. It's a stiff movement. You're just moving your neck, but not your body.
Yeah. So what she does is, she puts the mic right here on the chin. Okay. So whatever you do, the mic's gonna move with you.
Right.
I use
Tape,
that a
tape,
lot.
tape it to your body.
Yeah. Like
Have
I
it
do
hang
that.
from above here like a bindi.
I do all, I do all, that would be fun.
But do you are you, because I know personally you are the same person as you are on a stage. Does a lot of people think that you are playing a character or you are different when you go home, or like do you get that question a lot?
I don't think so. Like, so I do have a lot of regular audience, not in the sense because they just come to see me, like they hang out at that place a lot. Uh, I have a couple of people who have seen me from day one, and they see me now, and they do acknowledge that I have grown a lot. Sorry, what was the question? Do they?
Yeah, see, this is when the autistic the thing is kicking in. Fight with your mental self, Ajit. You can do it. Fight with your autistic self.
Okay,
Control
so
yourself.
the question was, do people
Think you're playing a character, or is this just do they know that it's just you?
uh so the people who have been seeing me from day one, they feel as if I'm being me,
Right,
but a little bit more filtered, but a little bit more structured. Like,
right.
I can tell a lot of jokes which are much more less offensive one on one, but coming to a crowd, that would be offensive. Okay, so
Right.
how did I forget the question twice?
So it's like you being more like a public presentable versus like what you are, but basically you're the same person, but you just try to be more conscious when you
Yeah,
get
like,
on stage.
uh, going into comedy, this is another thing which was on my mind, and even off stage, it is on my mind. You remember me from 2019, right? I
Yeah.
was just unfiltered. If some I didn't like you, like if I didn't give any fucks, I saw you as even better than me at not giving fucks about people. But
Right.
going back to India, that has kicked in again. I have started to give fucks about what other people think. I have saw myself being less of myself, like being not being me.
See, but that's the thing. That's what I play. I pretend that I don't give a fuck, but then when I go home, I cover myself under a blanket, under crippling anxiety and depression. I'm like, fuck. What should I do now? I should have said this. Oh my god.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Like, it's so much easier for me to not give a fuck about people. Ironically, when I'm trying to prove that I'm not giving a fuck about people.
Right.
Like, if I'm with you and if you give me some challenge, I will do it just to prove that I don't give a shit, fuck
Right.
about people, which is
Right.
actually giving a fuck about one person, but not everyone else.
But yeah, but like that's another thing that's sort of like your man ego, your survival instincts kicking in, that also is somehow making us better. That when we do these things, that it's just a push out of our comfort zone. No matter if you did it intentionally or unintentionally, and you just did it, and now you're like, okay, that happened. So either you can take it in a wrong way, or have a silver line out of it. But then talking about that, like, do you have anything that you when you're in retrospect, we're thinking about it, Is there something that you think you did wrong or you could have done better, or like, if it's just you're not planning these things, it's just like going with the flow, works however it works out.
Yeah, I'm just going with the flow. Like even with this, I just like I do have a ongoing note in my phone. Anytime something funny pops into my head, I just open it up. Like yesterday, I met a friend in downtown. I was just standing there, on my phone, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm writing a joke." Wait, like in the middle of the footpath, I'm just standing there.
Right.
People calling me. I'm like, "Let me write this joke before I forget."
Oh, did it ever happen that you unconsciously said something and then somebody came to be like, I think that was my joke?
So far, no one. So far, like the place where I
So,
do
because you're
stand
not
up,
famous yet.
yeah, no, and that and the fact that the place where I do comedy, people mostly are like, "That was amazing. That was amazing."
Right. They're
Not
just
amazing,
polite.
but good job. Good
Canadian.
job.
They're Canadian.
I,
They're being Canadian.
you asked about uh, advice, right? Advice. Be willing to hear the truth or take feedback. Which, yeah, like if you are willing to hear the truth, people will tell you the truth.
Right.
I'm able to improve so much because when people gave criticism, I didn't take it personally. I was like, okay, is this something which I want to improve? If I want to improve, then I improved. If I don't, like taking the criticism, you don't have to implement everything. Pick it. Pick it. Is this something I want to actually improve? Is this something like that thing? I didn't took that criticism and I don't do that anymore. Okay. There have been some other criticism which I'm like, yeah, this is not for me.
Right. Yeah, because not everything that works for one person is gonna work for you as well. But definitely, you have to be open to criticism, to take what's gonna improve you personally. And I think if the advice is presented not ignorantly or arrogantly, then I think everyone will start listening. Because
That's
then
the
what
that's
everyone,
the part, right? That's the shitty part because you are relying on other people to be like you want the advice, but you want it to not hurt your feelings. Fuck you.
right? No, I mean that's the difference. Hurting your feeling is fine, but then having that advice presented arrogantly, that I just know everything and you don't, right? That kind of like, then you take it in a negative way. But then if you come to me like, hey, I have something for you, I think this is gonna improve you, this is my advice, and then it's if it's presented politely or like in a conversational manner, I think then people will take it more seriously. But again, like not everything is gonna come to you like in a silver
Let,
spoon and everyone's gonna be polite.
let me put it this way. I have a saying which is like have thick skin and be nice. When you want to give advice,
That's
you
called
want
being
to,
brown.
yeah, like have thick skin and be nice, be kind. So when you want to give advice, you want to give in the way that it's most like you don't want to you want to come present it in a way that you are trying to help, you are
Right.
actually trying to help.
Right.
But when you're taking advice, you need to filter out all those fancy shenanigans words where people are trying to be polite. I
Yeah.
didn't mean to say that. You have to filter.
Yeah.
If even someone is giving you advice in the most arrogant way, you have to be you have to mentally remove that arrogance out of that advice and just look at the words and see what's anything that comes into your life. Be with like separate the tone, separate the messenger from the message, see what's useful in it.
Right. Yeah, I think we're focused more towards like how the tone is when someone says anything, and I think that that's just like a easy trigger for anyone. Before I let you go, uh, on final thoughts, what do you think about like the whole identity crisis, the whole LGBTQ movement? Like, is there something you want to say, or do you think it's just going in the wrong direction? Is there something that you have in your mind?
I'll start by saying I'm totally ignorant about the whole thing. Okay. Recently, I have tried to, like back in Surrey, I mostly made just brown friends, just brown Indian. Now I'm trying to have more diversity in my friends. And after saying that, like I'm ignorant about the whole topic. I say the best advice comes from the back of Indian trucks. Geo or Jineto, live and let live.
Live and let live. Well, you said you finally started making more friends and then people who are diverse as well. So you just now trying to be Canadian. Is that you because you want to get your citizenship, or is that something you really enjoy?
I think I'm in general a kind of friendly dude. Uh, I think I do have some of those nice guy things. I like to say those as kind. I'm kind, not nice. Like I'll I care about people, but I don't care about them at my own expense.
True, and I think that's how it should be like for everyone. If you're being honest and straightforward, as I know you are in person as well, and again you're gonna say whatever you feel like, and then it's gonna be up to the other person how they take it, because not everything's gonna be presented politely. You're gonna have ups and downs in life, and I think that's where people are struggling the most as well. That's why there's so many fights and then issues and the whole arrogance, the egoistic nature comes around, and then they blame into, they're so lost, so they're finding new ways to cope it up with this whole being identified as this and this and this. Again, we have no issue with that, but as you said, because the issue is people are trying to now implement onto you, and that's the ironical part, because they want you to give them the freedom however and whoever they want to love and live, but then they don't want you to live the way you want to live.
Like I was hanging out with a queer friend of mine. He's a drag queen as well. This is the first time I get to know what is a drag queen. Okay, and when I hung out with them, the person, my friend said, "Oh, it's all good. Ajit supports us." I didn't say it out loud at the moment, but it was like, it's not about support or not support. I don't give a shit about all of that. It's like I have no issues with the way you're living. It's like it's not about support or not support. It's like it's one of those issues which uh you're like, the way you want to live your life, why it should be my issue.
Right.
But if you try to impose your way of thinking on me, that I should cater my language or whatever to uh to your needs, you are in theory being a hypocrite. On one end you are saying, let us live the way we want to live, but at the same time, let us tell you how we want to be treated.
Right.
That's hypocrisy. As I said, both sides are stupid as fuck.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And again, like religion, diversity, everything's supposed to be like a beautiful nature or thing of like unifying souls together, but then it's like dividing us, and that's stupid, and it's sad to see the world going this way.
And yeah, and the other thing which I realized was, words don't hurt. It's your own brain how it interprets those words which hurt.
Right.
So if someone makes fun of me, I just one thing which I love about improv is yes and. If someone makes fun of me, I go like yes, I start making fun of myself, then I make fun of them. Then it, instead of becoming a fight, it becomes a collaborative process where we are all just trying to have fun.
Yeah, if you can't take a joke, you can't live life peacefully, I
Yeah,
believe. And especially for you being a comedian, if you can't take a joke, what the fuck are you doing?
yeah.
But yeah, okay, interesting. So when can we expect your next show?
Oh, it's gonna be long. It's gonna be long because I haven't prepared my next set yet. I have nowadays, like, so before the set, I was trying to narrow down the number of jokes which I want to do for this set.
Right.
But now, for the last at least 4 or 5 times I got up on open mic, mm, at least 80% of my jokes have been new.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I don't have n- sort of certain jokes which I'm working on. I have set couple of uh, I let my intrusive thoughts win. The another set is being single as Ajeet, or the other one is being brown in Canada. So it's, let's see.
So so you set a theme and then write jokes around it. That's how your thoughts work, or like that's how you approach this thing.
I'm experimenting at the moment. Like my original process is Just as I said, I have a huge note which has any random thought. I write that funny thought, and now I'm trying to see how else I can go about it. Because
Right.
as you said, my jokes are disconnected. I'm trying if I can connect them into one cohesive thing.
Gotcha. And then what's the longest set you have done?
That's a tricky question because the longest that I have done is I think 11 minutes, but it doesn't mean it was funny.
But no, at least you were on the stage, but you tried for 11 minutes. That's a big thing.
Yeah, like I was telling the story of this is another sort of set which I want to work on, the story of my first stand up.
Yeah, was it like the first 5 minute people trying to wake you up because you were unconscious on the stage sprinkling water? That's the five
Yeah.
minutes gone. Okay. Oh hey guys, welcome. So I think that we're at the end of our interview. It was fun. But where
Uh,
can people reach you?
Everywhere it's comic lectual. I hope it's easy to pronounce, easy to spell. It's COMIC comic LECTUAL. Intellectual comic, comic lectual.
There you go, people. For all the illiterate people, he spelled it out for you.
I chose it at the same moment I knew it's gonna be hard one to pronounce. Like, well,
it is a long one. It's a tough name and intellectual. It's a hard one for a lot of people
but
nowadays.
if you Google it, I'm the only one who comes up. So
Was that like strategic?
I like in a way, yes, because I don't want to contain myself to just comedy.
Right,
I think a lot of my friends, like I have a lot more things to say. I have a lot more opinions to share. I have a lot more things which have worked for me to share, and that's the intellectual part. But at the same time, I want to make fun of the things which shouldn't be made fun of, to
right,
make sure that it's being talked about.
right.
That's the comic in me.
Yeah, protecting what's need to be protected and then correcting what's need to be corrected.
Technically, every single person is just a shade of brown.
It is. Here we go, people. That's the influence of movie Barbie. Different shades of pink.
I haven't seen it. I have not seen it.
Because my wife just recently went, and then she's like, the worst movie ever. Not a good story. There's no plot in it. Acting's really bad. Waste of time. There you go. So I trust my wife. But she
This
didn't.
this
She
might
didn't
be
trust
the
me
most
when I said,
controversial. This might be the most controversial opinion of the whole thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but she didn't trust me. Feminists don't listen because I'm like, don't go. This is gonna be a bad movie. She's like, no, I got experiences. As a bunch of girls, we're gonna get together afterward and go watch the movie. I'm like, okay, cool.